Let's talk about magazines. I have had quite a few friends with magazine issues quite recently, and usually the main issue has been the valve, and it doesn't really matter which type of magazine you have, but and also if you have other weird issues with your guns, it's usually the output valve that is causing the issues, like nozzle freezing or magazines emptying too quickly, or well, all kinds of magazine issues, except for, well, not being able to fill the magazines. Personally, I always use Tokyo Marui original magazines. Usually I swap the base plates because the plastic ones always go missing and fly all over the place. And one thing that I like about the Tokyo Marui ones is the fill valve. I have never had an issue running empty on gas with the Marui fill valves, just because they have a clear indication when the magazine is full. So when you're pressing the gas bottle down and you hear the hiss, and when the liquid start coming out, you know it's always filled. The hissing is just some gas escaping from the magazine, so it's filling up with the liquid instead of the gas. Usually some people think that it's leaking gas, but yeah, well, it is, but it's so small that you shouldn't worry about it. I have seen people trying to use the small hush O-rings to block that, but that will only make the filling last longer because it can't replace the volume as fast as it should with the usual engineering that is behind here. So I don't recommend using the hush O-rings or whatever they are called. Yeah, and yeah, other reason why I use Tokyo Marui is the valve. I don't really use any high flow valves or anything like that. Only thing that I do to my valves is I remove one part of the output valve. There's you can probably find a YouTube video on how to modify the valve to high output. But yeah, I have tested a few high output valves and I don't see any difference on those. The only major difference I have seen is using the 9-ball lip seal rubber, and there is a downside to these as well. As they are a bit higher, it will put pressure on the slide, and it will probably cause some wear down on the slide or on the frame rails when using these. But yeah, these lip seals, they increase FPS like 5%, so close to marginal nothing. Other one is that the output valve is with the large head, as you can see here. Why I dislike the Taiwan magazines like this, this is a AV magazine, I think, from the red lip seal. So the issue here is that the strike head here is pretty small, and if you have like stock gun, AV, and any Hi-Capa, so it has the cast parts that are striking on the head over here. And what I have seen more common on the 1911 style pistols is that the strike head here, because this is steel and you are hitting it with cast metal, it will deform the valve knocker on your gun, and at some point when you have enough shots through it, the head will be deformed on the valve knocker and it will start skipping over the strike head. You can fix that issue by switching to steel valve knocker, so the strike head on inside your Hi-Capa. But yeah, I don't use these because this is the number one reason. The second reason is the fill valve, because this is the one stage, so you just fill it, you don't hear any hush. If you put your ear close to it, you might hear it filling. But when I started, I had the most issues with these magazines because you never know when the magazine is full. And I think people have made videos about like you need to press on it for 4 seconds or something like that. But the thing here is that these are actually limited. So you have this straw here and your fill valve is somewhere inside there. So when you are filling the magazine and you have this fill valve here, you cannot fill the liquid past this. So you will always have some airspace left here. So you don't need to, at least on these magazines. If you have some other magazines, you need to check that it has this limiting straw here. And also because these valves always fill to equal pressure, so they never actually fill it even up here. There was a company that made these fill valves with the Taiwan threads that acted like the so-called two-stage one. So you can hear the hush when you're filling it. I have one here actually in my Garner magazine. I think it was ICS Rebel that made those valves, but they don't make them anymore. But yeah, you will always know when your magazine is full with the two-stage fill valve. And also in all of the Tokyo Maruis, you have this restriction straw, so you can never overfill your magazine, so it never goes past the straw. And yeah, if you know the Tokyo Marui MVS gun, the rifle one with the large magazines, you have a long straw, limiting straw there. There is quite a few videos showing how you can cut that off and get more liquid gas in the magazine to shoot more pellets. But yeah, if you need to modify this, so you want to, let's say you have a long magazine, they usually have a longer straw. So if you want to fill it more, you don't need to cut this off. You can just drill a small hole where you want the liquid level to go. That's all it takes. Just a small hole here, because you can always, if you want to return it to original, you can always plug the small hole. Instead, if you cut it, you can never return it to original state. So that's a good tip for you. What else? Yeah, the issue. So I have serviced quite a few guns that had very strange issues from magazine running out, not cycling well, nozzle getting frozen and stuff like that. And the main reason for that is the output valve. So if you don't lubricate the back end, it will get stuck. So when you are shooting and the valve knocker is hitting here and keeping it pressed, and then your gun will cycle, what happens is that if this is sticky, it doesn't return as fast as it should. Of course, if you have magazine with gas in it, it seems to return pretty well. So you need to always test this on an empty gun or empty magazine. And what you do with your empty magazine is just see that the valve resets quickly. So this will need to come back very quickly. If it's stuck to the bottom, or if it's coming back up very slowly, you need to put some oil in there and then just slam it down a few times until it starts returning normally. And the reason why is that, at least on the Tokyo Marui, you have an extra O-ring in between here. So you have the strike end, you have the return spring, then you have a small O-ring, and then you have the gas sealing head. So what we have here is basically deconstructed one of those outlet valves. So how it is assembled is that you put that in there, not there, in there. Then you have the O-ring. Then you have this one, and that's a quite strong one. Let me see if I can demonstrate the sticky valve with this one, although the return spring is quite strong. Yeah, it's too strong, the return spring, for this demonstration, but yeah. Then you have the sealing O-rings here, but if your valve gets sticky, you need to lubricate the O-ring in between there. And that's usually, well, in my problem cases, it's like 1 out of every 3 pistols that come in for service that have the sticky valve problem. So it's quite very common issue. But if you remember to lubricate the back end, you will have no problem with your magazines. And yeah, that's about it. If you have any questions about the magazines or the valves or stuff like that, shoot me a message and I will see what I can do.